Most historically accurate movies ever made. When a film's tagline is based on a true story, you can bet that not everything is historically correct. When it comes down to it, when it comes to writing a tale, the truth of the situation isn't necessarily that dramatic. If you attempt to convey it on the large screen, your viewers could fall asleep. However, there are occasions when the true narrative is full of incredible, dramatic intrigue. In such circumstances, as with these historical films, no substantial creative liberties are required. 12 Years a Slave. In America, slavery films are nothing new, but making a well-thought-out slavery film is. The film 12 Years a Slave is based on Solomon Northrop's 1853 memoir of the same name. Northrop was a free black man from upstate New York who was abducted and sold into slavery in 1841. Northrop's narrative goes into great detail about his life as a slave for the 12 years until he reclaimed his freedom. Director Steve McQueen conveys not just Solomon's horrific and violent experience as a slave, but also the lives of the individuals with whom Solomon comes into contact. McQueen doesn't sugarcoat history, revealing how slaves were purchased and sold, as well as the real feelings of each individual. A Night to Remember. Everyone is familiar with the disaster that happened on April 14, 1912, the sinking of the RMS Titanic. Many films have been created since the ship's disaster. Both James Cameron's Titanic and Roy Ward Baker's A Night to Remember received great praise, but which picture is more historically accurate? The events of the Titanic sinking are covered in James Cameron's Titanic, although the film mostly concentrates on the characters of Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet's ill-fated love story. A Night to Remember by Roy Ward Baker delves into additional personalities from each class and their struggles to survive that night. Despite not having Cameron's funding or technology, Titanic scholars and survivors have praised Baker's A Night to Remember for its veracity. Apollo 13. The Apollo 13 mission has been portrayed several times, the most noteworthy being Ron Howard's 1995 film Apollo 13. The lunar exploration expedition took place 25 years before the film on April 11, 1970. The film, which was delayed until film technology improved, does the Apollo 13 mission justice. The video does an incredible job duplicating the Apollo 13 spacecraft and conveying the genuine emotion of the three men without missing a beat with even the smallest of details. Black Robe. When filming a film on any culture, you want to do them justice and portray the beauty of their culture. As a result, historical accuracy is essential. Black Robe depicts indigenous people and their cultures and has gained critical praise for its depiction of their existence, way of life, and inclusion of speech in Cree, Mohawk, and Algonquin languages. After reading Brian Moore's book of the same name, director Bruce Beresford decided to produce a film adaptation and wanted to bring the characters on the pages to life as accurately as possible. Come and See. There is nothing beautiful about war. It's icy, horrible, gory, and merciless. Come and See conveys this by depicting the horrific reality of World War II from the perspective of the Russians. Alan Klimov, the director, sought to produce a film that recounted the true account of Russia's role in World War II. Some Russians were dissatisfied with this work because they felt it deviated too far from many of their own tales. Many historians applauded Klimov's effort to accurately portray extermination camps and victims, as well as for making the picture raw. Das Boot. There were a handful of significant submarine movies in the 1980s, although they weren't always that excellent. Das Boot achieved something no previous submarine film had done before. It showed how frustrating it might be to fight in a war while in a submarine. You're safe and can simply hide, but you can also die quickly. Director Wolfgang Petersen allows a narrative full of real passion to spill onto the screen. The audience not only witnesses tremendous action scenes, but Petersen also gives a terrifying account of why submarine warfare was so unique. Downfall. The film Downfall focuses on Adolf Hitler's last days as the leader of the Nazi Party and manages, maybe controversially, to humanize one of the world's most despised individuals. There isn't much information on what happened in Hitler's final 10 days. But director Oliver Hirschbiegel drew on historian Joachim Fest's Inside Hitler's Bunker and Hitler's former private secretary Traudl Jung's book Until the Final Hour to create a brilliant, emotional film. Gettysburg. This is the film that tells you practically everything you need to know about the Battle of Gettysburg. Gettysburg is 4 hours and 31 minutes long, but it's worth every second if you're captivated by the Civil War's pivotal fight. The speed of the film may be weak at times, given that it's mostly about the legendary three-day fight, but this allows the spectator to see all sides of the tale emerge. Both viewers and critics praised Gettysburg for its historical accuracy and superb acting, which captured every necessary detail, something uncommon in other war movies. The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. The gorgeous young cowboy or handsome outlaw guy is a constant in Hollywood westerns, although getting the pictures authentic was seldom a thing. Most people would gather to watch the action, whether it was the outlaw raising hell and gaining justice, or the attractive starling that was making all the commotion. The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford is a film that has it all, but it's also factual. The film is about the outlaw, Jesse James, but it centers on Robert Ford as a young man and his fixation with James. The film captures James at the pinnacle of his reputation, making it easier for the film to work around it while simultaneously telling Ford's narrative. Because it was genuine to the people and historical period, the picture was well received by viewers and critics alike. Lincoln. Lincoln, directed by Steven Spielberg, captures what Abraham Lincoln is known for: a born leader, a virtuous speaker, and a man with a kind heart fighting for what he believes is right. But the director also manages to show the 16th president in less grandiose terms than most history books will lead you to believe, and how he was similar to any fellow man, sharing common traits. The video explores Lincoln's modest childhood while also depicting the intensity of the political scene at the time. Schindler's List. The fascinating narrative of Oskar Schindler, a businessman who sees a chance to earn a fortune during World War II, but whose worldview is destroyed after seeing a slaughter of Jews in the Krakow ghetto, is told in Schindler's List. While certain characters and scenes were changed for dramatic effect, filmmaker Steven Spielberg stayed loyal to author Thomas Keneally's book, Schindler's Ark, for the most part. The film does not shy away from the Holocaust violence, conveying the grief, horror, and destruction of one of humanity's worst moments in terrible detail. Stalingrad. The Battle of Stalingrad is regarded as one of the biggest and deadliest conflicts in military history. If you're going to make a movie about it, the historical backdrop needs to be correct. The Battle of Stalingrad is still one of the most researched episodes of World War II. That's what made Stalingrad so memorable. It doesn't shy away from the Battle of Stalingrad's ferocity and bloodshed. Director Joseph Vilsmeier keeps faithful to reality by depicting the conflict from the Germans' viewpoint, and it does so in harsh form, conveying the horrors of war as few films have. The Last Emperor. Because part of the history is hazy, historians continue to debate the rise and fall of China's last emperor. Scholars are still putting together what is and isn't accurate, as well as where certain events sit on the chronology. So, although not everything in the picture is historically correct, the care with which director Bernardo Bertolucci and writer Mark Peplow depicted what is known is evident. They expertly depict the political upheaval of the period while presenting a breathtaking image of ancient China. The Last Emperor was nominated for 9 Academy Awards and won every single one of them. Tora Tora Tora. Tora 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 is more historically accurate than Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor. What distinguishes this film in presenting the history of Pearl Harbor is that filmmakers Robert Fleischer, Toshio Masuda, and Kinji Fukasaku didn't just convey one side of the tale while leaving the other side unexplained and unexplored. All 3 filmmakers were able to delve deeply into both sides of the Pearl Harbor assault in order to convey a compelling tale about why it occurred. The film also made use of a real-life aircraft carrier, the Yorktown, which the Navy let the team use before decommissioning it the next year. The Lion in Winter. Medieval films in Hollywood have always been hit or miss, giving a little bit of everything. romance, action, drama, humor, and sometimes medieval horrors. It's also usual for these films to delve into the caste system's hardships, comparing the misery of the peasant class with the monarchy's plenty of luxury. The historical authenticity of the political situation of the period is what propels The Lion in Winter to the top of our list. Director James Goldman captured the complexities and subtleties of King Henry II's life as he dealt with his estranged and imprisoned wife, his kids, and the choice to choose an heir to the throne.